a person may ask, and you mentioned this at the beginning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything that has happened, will happen, and is happening. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knowing that a person X, that he's going to go through life, or she's going to go through life, be a sinner, and then end up in the hellfire. A person could say, then why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow that to happen? What would the response be?
It's a very important question to address. And I want to start by saying that the question fails, the question itself fails for many, many reasons. The first one is that knowledge in and of itself doesn't transform an act from being one that is good into one that is evil. Let me give you an example. If I venture into the marketplace and I go to purchase a bike for my child, I have absolute conviction and yaqeen that one day my child will fall off that bike. I know they're going to fall off that bike. So despite me having the knowledge that my child is going to fall off that bike, I purchased the bike anyway. That knowledge of me knowing that did not alter that good act that I did and change it into a bad one. And in fact, all of humanity would agree that buying a bike for my child is actually a good thing. And if he did end up falling off the bike, they would blame any other cause but not the purchase of that bike. So knowledge does not alter or shift something from being a good thing into a bad thing. And our creation and our existence, which we celebrate, is actually a good thing. So that's number one. The second thing is, the question assumes that mercy is a binary, or that mercy is binary, and that should be seen from a very subjective vantage point, as if to say, if God doesn't do everything I want, then he's not merciful. That's fallacious. If we just list some of the merciful actions of God, we will see that it quickly dispels, erroneous notions about the divine being. And we don't have the entire puzzle. We don't have infinite wisdom to know why God did what he did and some of the things that he did. But it's a fallacious question because you assume that mercy has to work your way. But mercy doesn't have to work your way. And for someone to say that, no, it has to be fixed this way, it's very, very fallacious and, in fact, erroneous to perceive it that way. The third thing is that the question is asking or is proposing that the listener view God through the prism of suspicion and distrust. So the construct of that question is actually saying you should see God through the prism of suspicion. You should be suspicious about him and you should distrust him, which oppose the very things that we should be having, which is what? Tawakkul, reliance on God, and trusting God. God does things without that self-benefit. There's no self-interest there. So why did he make us? He made us because God is inherently loving. God is the all-merciful, the all-knowing, the all-seeing, who loves us, who created us. In fact, every moment of our passing on this world. See, God didn't just create us, but he sustains us at every passing moment. So we have to be thankful for that. We have to be, show immense gratitude for what he's done for us. If you start from that premise, and you start from the premise that I'm coming from a divine, loving being who created us without any vested interest, who looks after us at every passing moment, and so on and so on and so forth and so forth. And then you start, okay, why am I being punished? But hang on a second, you've started from a premise of this being, and I then suffered the fate of punishment in the hereafter. You start to say, well, you know what? I suffered punishment as a consequence of what I've done, not of anything to do with God, right? But the choices that I made. What he did was good. Who he is the most loving being. So you have to look at it from that prism. And when you do start off from that premise, you end up with the proper response.
If you enjoyed this video and everything else that OnePath does and would like to see us produce more content, then please support us. Go to www.onepathNetwork.com. You can support us from as little as $1 a day. Much love and appreciation, and may Allah bless you all.